Have you ever found yourself staring at a server spec sheet, wondering if you're overpaying for cores you don't need, or worse, underpowered for the workload you're running? That's the tightrope every IT manager walks today, especially when balancing cost, performance, and reliability. Enter the Intel Xeon Silver 4310, a 12-core powerhouse built for the sweet spot between enterprise-grade muscle and budget-conscious scalability. But is it the right choice for your data center, or just another overhyped chip in a sea of options? The pain point here is clear. Mid-tier servers need more than basic dual-core chips, but full-blown platinum-tier processors often come with price tags that make CFOs wince. The Xeon Silver line has long been Intel's answer to this dilemma, offering a balance of performance, efficiency, and affordability. The 4310, part of Intel's third-gen Xeon scalable family, promises to deliver just that, 12 cores running at 2.10 GHz, with turbo boost capability, all in a package designed for two-socket servers. But does it live up to the hype, or is it just another incremental update in a crowded market? Let's start with the unboxing. Well, not literally, since this is an OEM pack. But even without the retail flair, the packaging is no nonsense. The processor arrives in a static shielded tray, typical of Intel's OEM distribution. No fancy box, no marketing fluff, just the chip, a quick start guide, and the all-important part number, CD8068904657901. The build quality is industrial grade, as expected from a server-grade component. The heat spreader is robust, the pins are meticulously aligned, and the markings are crisp. This isn't a consumer chip. It's built for 24/7 operation, and it shows. Installation is straightforward if you're familiar with LGA 4189 sockets. But if you're new to Intel's scalable platform, expect a learning curve. The socket is larger, the memory channels are more complex, and the BIOS settings are far from plug-and-play. Usability here is about reliability, not convenience, and that's exactly what you want in a server. Now, let's talk about what's under the hood. The Xeon Silver 4310 is a 12-core, 24-thread processor based on Intel's Ice Lake SP architecture, built on a 10nm process. That's a significant leap from the previous generation's 14 nanometers, delivering better performance per watt and improved efficiency. Each core runs at a base clock of 2.10 GHz, but with Intel's Turbo Boost Max 3.0 technology, single-threaded workloads can burst up to 3.30 GHz. That's not just a marketing number. It's real-world headroom for latency-sensitive applications. The 18 megabytes of L3 cache is shared across all cores, which helps with multi-threaded tasks like virtualization or database operations. Memory support is another highlight. The 4310 officially supports DDR4-3200, with speeds up to 3,200 metric tons per second across 6 memory channels. That's a massive bandwidth advantage over older dual-channel setups, especially for memory-intensive workloads like in-memory databases or AI inference. And let's not forget PCIe 4.0 support, 32 lanes per socket, which means you can pair this with high-speed NVMe drives, GPUs, or even accelerators without bottlenecking your I/O. Security features are baked in too, with Intel SGX for enclave computing and Intel BootGuard for trusted boot sequences. This isn't just a processor. It's a security-hardened compute engine. But specs alone don't tell the full story. Let's put this chip through its paces with some real-world scenarios. First up, virtualization. With 12 cores and 24 threads, the 4310 is tailor-made for running multiple VMs or containers. In our tests, we deployed a mix of lightweight web servers and a couple of database instances on a dual-socket server with 256 gigabytes of DDR4-3200 RAM. The results? Smooth sailing. The turbo boost kicked in during peak loads, and the memory bandwidth handled the I/O without breaking a sweat. Latency was consistently low, even under sustained load. Next, we tested it with a machine learning inference workload using TensorFlow. The 4310 isn't a GPU, but for edge AI deployments or smaller models, it held its own. The AVX 512 instructions helped accelerate the math-heavy operations, and the 18 megabytes cache reduced memory bottlenecks. That said, if you're running full-scale deep learning training, you'll still want a dedicated accelerator. But for inference at scale, this chip is more than capable. Now let's talk trade-offs. The base clock of 2.10 GHz is solid, but it's not a speed demon. If your workloads are heavily single-threaded, you might find a 3.30 GHz turbo boost helpful, but don't expect desktop-level responsiveness. Power consumption is another consideration. Under full load, the 4310 can draw around 150 watts per socket, which adds up quickly in a dual-socket setup. That's not excessive for a server, but it's something to factor into your power budget. And while PCIe 4.0 is a welcome upgrade, not all peripherals support it yet. So you might not see the full benefit unless you're using newer NVMe drives or GPUs. So, what does the Xeon Silver 4310 stand in the grand scheme of things? Let's compare it to a few key competitors. First, AMD's EPYC 7543P. That chip offers 32 cores at a similar base clock, but with a lower TDP and better multi-threaded performance in many benchmarks. However, the 4310 wins in single-threaded tasks and has better memory bandwidth per core. If you're running a mix of latency-sensitive and parallel workloads, the Intel chip might be the better fit. Now, consider the Xeon Platinum 8358. That's a 32-core beast with a higher price tag. The 4310 is about half the cores, but also about half the cost, making it a more budget-friendly option for SMBs or branch offices. Finally, let's look at the older Xeon Silver 4210R. The 4310 improves on that with more cores, higher memory speeds, and PCIe 4.0 support. The generational leap is real, but if you're already on a second-gen Xeon platform, the upgrade might not be worth it unless you're hitting performance ceilings. So, should you buy the Intel Xeon Silver 4310? The answer depends on your needs. If you're running a two-socket server for virtualization, databases, or mixed workloads and need a balance of performance and cost, this chip is a strong contender. It's not the fastest, and it's not the most power efficient, but it delivers where it counts. Reliable, scalable performance for enterprise-grade applications. The OEM-packed is perfect for system integrators or IT teams building custom servers, as it avoids the retail markup while still including all the necessary documentation. Just make sure your motherboard supports the LGA 4189 socket and DDR4-3200 memory and budget for adequate cooling. This isn't a chip that thrives in a poorly ventilated chassis. If you're still on the fence, ask yourself this. Are you paying for cores you don't need, or are you constantly hitting performance walls with your current setup? If it's the latter, the Xeon Silver 4310 might just be the upgrade you've been waiting for. Don't let indecision cost you more in the long run. Evaluate your workloads, check your compatibility, and if the numbers add up, pull the trigger. Your servers and your users will thank you.